All right, welcome everybody to the Tensport Tales episode 7. Um, appropriate use of the golf clap. Um, Last time we played, I believe, was a couple weeks ago. So to fill everybody in, we have ventured over to the Tensport Cemetery. I don't know if it had an appropriate name. Where to try and investigate the last known last above ground resting place of Davin Fry. Mont had a bit of a run-in with the Undertaker. Wark and Rin discovered the tomb or the crypt in which he was buried, and I believe Rich was involved in just realizing that we needed a warrant to go any further. And then there was a ritual that was to be done over over Davin Fry's casket, and which we interrupted as during the ritual 9 letters seemed to start to appear all over the casket, and we were not sure what that was, and I believe that's where we are right now.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. I'm just while you said that, you reminded me that I should check whether or not I updated the drive.
I never look at the drive, so I would not know.
Modestly.
Yeah, we need to know what those 9 letters are. That's important.
That's why it's on the drive.
Found
Um,
documents. Do not see. Oh, Davin Fry's casket. We found them. The casket numbers or letters are W, as in Walter, or as in work. Sorry. S as in C. No, sorry. S as in star. N X H W N N O. This is the worst game. This is the worst anagram I've ever seen.
Well, considering it has 1 vowel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we've made our attempt at creating our own phonetic alphabet that will obviously replace any other. Yeah. So as the ritual was kind of underway, and the ashes off the incense were slowly drifting on top of the casket, these letters seemed to fill in where wasn't visible before. Mork had kind of rushed in to stop it, just because for obvious reasons that crap looks ominous. And you guys had decided to take what was it, what do they call them, a stencil?
Yeah.
It was like a rub.
Yes,
All right.
that's the
Yeah.
word.
And I make a recall knowledge society check to see if I know of any other languages that use the common script, but it could still be a different language.
Go ahead and make that roll.
Is there a drive link somewhere?
13.
It's pinned in the Discord.
Oh,
13, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. As you're trying to think of other possible languages, it's a few dialects kind of come to mind, but most of them you'd be able to make out general ideas and general words of with enough time. This doesn't seem like one of those.
Okay. If it doesn't seem like it's another language using the common script, does it seem like it could be a transliteration from another language, just like how you use like pinyin to write down Chinese characters in English?
Just from what you guys or what you're able to see of it, trying to like make the sounds seems a little too foreign to you, just based off like kind of your I'm gonna base it off of that same kind of recall knowledge check here,
Yeah.
but the sounds just don't make sense. It doesn't seem to be any reasonable language. There might be something that's a little a little more exotic that might fit the bill. But for the
Mhm.
most part, it just looks like a rather poor assortment of lettering.
Okay.
Okay. And it looks like that's the entire message. It doesn't look like if they had kept going, more would have shown up.
As far as you guys can see right now, can you guys just make for the I don't remember how many of you had gathered around that casket, but I assume most of y'all's.
Mhm.
If you guys can make a perception check for me, just to see if there's anything else that might show up in the light here.
That would be a natural 20 plus 5.
I also got a natural 20 plus 5.
Goodness gracious.
I just got 17.
Oh wait, I got it here.
Sorry. What are we rolling here?
A perception.
Oof.
Okay. Got a 6.
6. Okay. As you guys are kind of taking a close look at the top of this casket here, having kind of brushed aside the clergymen who were very who were stopped for their safety from kind of proceeding. You guys kind of look with all the kind of torchlight overhead. It doesn't seem like anything else is written on top of this casket. But as you guys have kind of gathered around to kind of examine it, you guys are slowly hearing footsteps approaching the crypt here.
I'll go back and take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the position of the letters, are they like centered, or just trying to get in my head, like if they're centered in such a way that I'm like, oh, this looks like it would be the complete message.
It does look thoroughly centered, almost nameplate-esque, but very obviously like this would have to be a 9-letter name if that were the case. So otherwise it would just be, and it's also all evenly spaced as well.
Okay.
So it makes you it leads you guys collectively to kind of believe that this is likely just a word of some sort.
Okay. Thank you.
Wark, you're heading back towards the entrance of the crypt here.
Yes.
Okay. As you start walking your way towards the entranceway of the crypt here, a pair of shoes kind of comes into view from the stairs that descend into the area that you guys are in. You guys can see brown leather shoes accompanied by what seems like a relatively large coat that seems to be draping down below the ankles, and as it comes more fully into view, you recognize a figure with a rather large overcoat on, the slicked back hair.
I immediately charge him and try to push him into the wall.
Okay. Let's quickly roll initiative here, if we don't mind.
Okay.
Hot dog.
Oh God, where did I put my thing?
Ooh.
Can I question, because I know that
Yes.
initiative is different in this game.
Correct.
Can I use my athletics for my initiative here, because it has to do with how fast I can charge him?
How fast you can charge him? I don't see why not.
Okay, that's a 15 then.
Get a 21.
14 for me.
Hold on. Sorry, give me 1 second here.
You got it.
Just getting my stuff in order, as they say here. All right, sorry. Did anybody who had over 15 here?
I had 21.
20.
I had exactly 15.
God, where are all my names? All right, Rich was 21. Wark was 15. Sorry, who?
Month was 21.
Oh, Munt was 21. My bad. And then who? And then below, and then above 10.
Rich was 14.
Rich was 14, and then Rin, what did you get?
6.
Okay. In which case, as you guys see this familiar, you guys can hear the footsteps coming in, and as some of you guys are still kind of investigating the basket itself, you guys just hear Wark square up, and then his feet start rushing. And as you guys start turning, you guys see that watches. He's basically just like ready to. I assume you're like once again going for like a football tackle style thing.
Only I have my like ethereal shield out. Like I'm just trying to like full on slam him into the wall and like keep him like press him there.
Yeah, and pin him there.
Yeah.
Okay. As Wark is like rushing headlong with shield in hand here, right at Dallin, who's kind of suddenly appeared. Dallin, as he kind of starts stepping down into this area, he sees as Wark rushes up to him, and he just kind of stands straight and just lets it happen. Wark, if you would like to make your where's the athletics? Do you want to? Would we like to try a shove, or are we trying to grapple here?
This is a shove technically, but it doesn't really accomplish what I'm looking for. Can I go with a trip? Only we'll treat it like a shove, but can I use it as a trip? Like I'm trying to like knock him to the ground.
Yeah,
Sure.
shove can knock something prone. That's in the list, isn't it? I thought it was.
thought it was too.
Actions.
I'll roll it anyways. It's athletics anyways while you guys look it up.
Yep.
That is a 21 athletics.
21 athletics.
Against-
And you're
If it's shove, it's against fortitude. I think trip is the same.
Oh yeah, no, maybe you do have to use trip. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if you want him to fall prone.
It's reflex if it's trip. Let's just. So I feel like, shove. Maybe it is a grapple. Maybe it is a grapple just with my shield. Let's call it that.
Okay.
It's against fortitude.
against fortitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to pin someone, that would
Whatever
make
their
this-
fortitude DC is.
Their 42 DC. Okay, and what? Sorry, what was your roll here?
A 21.
21. Okay. In which case, you successfully kind of like rush forward, shield out, and in this case, you kind of have him pinned between like the one of the walls here. Your shield kind of like just out, like right on his chest, and then your arm kind of now like grabbing onto one of his shoulders.
Yeah.
In which case, he kind of just stands there, and he's kind of just standing straight, just like he's got like he's got like kind of his eyes are not quite like wide, but it was but seems very leisurely, and just like it just kind of was like oh, and just go. You can even hear as you kind of like slam against it. He kind of gives a little sound as he kind of gets knocked up against the back of the wall there. What else would you like to do here?
I am. I don't know. I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna okay. So I'm gonna enter my. So that's one action, right? To shove. Or is it because I also moved?
Oh, and you would stride too, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
assume you would stride as well.
I'll just raise my shield.
Okay.
So, I'm holding him with one arm, and I've got my shield raised, so I get my
Okay.
bonuses.
Yeah, you kind of like you had it like into like just kind of like in the center of his mass before, and now you've kind of like brought the elbow up a little bit, and now you've kind of pushed it up just below his kind of like neckline here. In which case, I just wanted to bring us up to that first, and then I'm gonna go back up to Munt here because I think Munt was technically supposed to go first, but we're gonna
Yeah.
but I wanted to get that like shove out of the way first.
I will take my weapon out of my bag and spend an action screwing it back together, and then I will make a crafting check to try and overcharge it.
Okay.
It's a fail on the first one, and I will attempt to do it again. That is a critical success on the second one, so I am now 2 stages of overcharged, and I will end my turn.
Ooh, baby. All right, cranking up here. Work. I kind of just jumped you to the front here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna skip over you for the rest of this kind of first round, if that works.
Yep.
Rich, that brings us up to you here.
All right. Well, I am going to devise a stratagem. And definitely not going to be attacking because that was a natural 1, but that's okay. But as part of the stratagem, I can try and known weakness, which is a 4, so that'll be a fail anyways. I will stride up and I am going to attempt to trip him. So we'll do athletics. So you've got him pinned against the wall. I'm just going to kind of like take his legs out from under him.
Mhm.
That is a 19.
A 19. And that would be against his
Reflex DC.
Reflex.
reflex.
It's
So, yeah,
probably-
you gotta watch as now you're gonna, and now it's kind of like on his butt, on the floor here.
All right. You're very good
Uh,
at disabling people.
Let's not say that on stream.
We are playing a fantasy game that involves swords and cutting people. I think you're allowed to say it.
We are disabling people in Minecraft.
All right. In which case, is there? That would have been all of your actions, correct?
Yes.
Okay. In which case, Rin.
So at this point, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get ready to electric arc him if he moves or makes any sort of resistance.
Okay. In which case,
I'm
you
sort
guys
of
watch. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm gonna sort of make sure that I'm sort of further away and not
Okay.
right up in his grill.
No, completely fair. I'm assuming that unless you were one of the people who kind of rushed up to meet him here, you guys are standing pretty much like right within 5 feet or so of the casket here. Okay.
Hmm.
As this is kind of happening, you guys kind of see as the other the clergy members at the back are all seem to be relatively shocked at what's happening here, as they kind of just like mutter a little bit of a prayer to themselves, and also kind of just to the souls in the area. They seem to just be asking them to not be disturbed by the occurrences around them, and basically trying to calm anything here, in almost just like a very superstitious way. You can see that all of them just very quickly, as soon as you guys kind of started all of these actions, are very much just taking like, yeah, please, everybody, please excuse the, and it's things like that. Dallin here, sitting on his butt, just he's got a shield pinned up against him. His legs kind of swept up. He's got just like butt on the ground right on the side. He's got his legs kind of flayed out, almost like a little, almost like a kid sitting down with their back against a wall. And he's just going slowly puts his hand up and says, I'm just here to talk to you guys. I thought we got off on the wrong foot earlier.
given we're now on your murder list, I would imagine we did.
Look, I'm not trying to put you on the murder list, but old habits die hard here. I'm used to being how do they put it? Killed? And so self-preservation's pretty high on my list most of the time.
Is it? It seems like getting killed is of relatively low consequence to you. It seems like it should be that self-preservation is lower on your list of priorities than the regular person.
I'm gonna let that one slide because I'm just gonna tell you that
Why? Because
dying.
you don't have a rebuttal for it. This seems like you're creating a really convenient excuse for yourself when you kind of unjustifiably put us on the murder list.
First, as he kind of sits there a little bit and just goes, "Look, I wanted to come here because I figured that you would be the ones looking into my casket. I just wanted to come here to warn you, not to open it, and also to offer you a truce and a way to hopefully get off the murder list. That's all I'm here for. That's why I didn't come in swinging. That's why I didn't have a knife in one hand and not pulling a gun out and having it revved up, not having my shield bashed right under my neck here. I'm just want to talk.
Well, you have to understand, for us, dying has consequences.
For me,
Right.
dying had consequences too. That crap hurts.
It seems like relatively low stakes.
You guys can now kind of also hear as the clergy in the back is now kind of even deeper in in prayer as they've kind of like huddling a little more together and just like swinging the incense or as much as they can.
I'd like to brandish my gun at them and say, "Hey, you guys, knock it off!"
Make a
Intimidate?
yeah, make a. You know what? I'm gonna go with the demoralize here. Do you want to demoralize them?
I would love to, which just uses my intimidation rule, I think.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, against their will DC, yes. Do I get a circumstance or item bonus for waving a gun at them?
I would say that you're waving a gun at them. At the moment I'll probably give you a +2 for now.
Nice. Is a 27 to demoralize.
I'm betting that's a critical success.
You guys are like as you do that. Not it's the rest of your crew is kind of still very focused on Dallin, but as you kind of wave the gun, point it like directly in line with their like eyes. You kind of watch as all of them like one of them drops the incense slightly at their feet, kind of near the casket, and they're all just kind of back off and just no, it's okay, we're stopping. They kind of just lower themselves to the ground, and just like you can see them huddled against each other, and just and just almost just like putting themselves to the ground in front of you here.
All right. So, what are you?
Like me, like Dallin, like I'm Dallin Fry.
But how do you keep coming alive? That's not a human thing.
Yeah, I mean, like well. So here's the thing. Let me. Can I know I don't have great track record now because I tried to stab you, but I mean, I need to be able to, show you. As he's kind of like
Right.
gesturing at the shield at his front here.
Or maybe we'll give him a little breathing room, but don't stand up.
I'm not standing up.
All right.
I move the shield back a little bit.
Okay. He kind of opens his jacket up pretty. He looks at everybody and just like while making eye contact, kind of like slowly down the line, he kind of opens his jacket up, and you guys can see that he's got like his little scroll case on the side. He's got his like big knife on the other side here. He's got a few little other bags and like just a generalized assortment of utility along his belt here and along his kind of inner vest. And he just kind of like slowly reaches for the scroll case here. Just slides it open,
Slow, yeah.
and you guys can see it's got some sort of parchment or maybe some sort of leather on it. And he slowly unrolls it, and you guys can see a list of what was he have on here? He's got probably right now like 8 separate lines on there.
Okay.
All the names,
and
right?
Yeah, and he's like, so, this, you see, I was murdered the first time,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Martyred even.
It was-
I'm a big
So-
fan of your cause.
Thank you. As he almost furrows his brow a little, but gives you that little nod of like, all right. But this didn't used to be this long, but these are people that have essentially stepped in my way as that happened. And the thing is, I'm, as you guys probably now well know, with all this going on, I'm dead. Well, undead. You get the picture. So,
Yep.
in order to not stick around on this entire thing, I needed to clear off my list. At the moment, you guys have made it onto the list, and I would love to take you guys off of there if you guys can help me clear off the rest of the list. That's all.
I have a question. So when you say get in your way, what is the end game here? Where does this end? Is it only once we've returned to a full hunter-gatherer society that we're square, or are you just trying to cull the worst offenders, or what's the what's the threshold here?
So here's the thing. Would it be weird if I told you I don't know?
Yes.
All right. Well, I
So-
guess let's try to think of something else. But I mean, at the moment, I don't know. I just know that I was wronged at some point. This list made it to me, and now all I know is that I have an overwhelming need to clear this list.
Does the list talk to you?
I guess it doesn't speak to me, but like
No, but it
it
gives you
speaks-
strong ideas.
it speaks to me in the same way that like I don't even remember how that feels anymore. God damn, like a good book or a good song speaks to me.
Of
Like a
course.
good song might make you dance, or a good good book, like a sad story might make you cry. This makes me want to.
Put some fire in your belly.
Yeah, it makes me want to put holes in people's heads. But I mean,
Sure. Yeah. Well,
Tomato,
it's a vigor.
tomato.
You've got a lot. You've clearly got a lot of passion about what you do.
well,
So how long ago? You said it came to you. What kind of circumstances was that like? Was it a big gust of wind and it blew into your hands, or?
once again, would it be weird if I said yes?
Yes, I would say that's odd.
I'm gonna have to find another story for you then.
Mm.
Um,
So I'm assuming this list is somehow magical, obviously, because you know.
Hells yeah.
Yeah. Can other people touch your list?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think so.
Would you, as a show of faith, let me hold on to it and take a look at it?
I mean, sure. I'm not gonna get up. I assume that's very clear though,
No.
right?
Nope.
We'd
No.
prefer you didn't.
Okay.
I
sure.
also have a question. Would you allow me to tear a small corner off?
You can try. I don't.
Oh.
It doesn't work.
I would like to try.
Make an athletics check.
Ooh. I'm not too good at those.
Yes, when ripping the paper requires an athletics check.
Yeah. I'm just.
Can I make a crafting check to cut it with a little piece of scissors or something?
Sure.
Can before he tries that, can I get that list out of his hand and be like, "What? Just let me do my magic-y thing first. Just wait."
No, just let me just take 1 second. Just gotta get a little corner off here.
No. I don't want you to do anything that might affect this. So
I reach
give
out with my
me-
17 scissors.
Would you like to roll contested, or would you or is one of you okay with letting this one go?
I would
I-
roll contested if it came
I
down to
will
it.
roll contested, and I'm gonna try and like grab it and hop out of the way.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Lord
try and
have
be
mercy
dodgy.
on my soul. All right, how am I doing this? I'm gonna let's see here. God, why do you guys do this?
I would like to.
me? All right.
It took me this long to realize that we essentially have a dog, a cat, and a mouse on the same team. And the cat and the mouse are
and a
currently
big guy with a
fighting.
shield.
I am the shield. Thank you very much.
True,
All
true.
right.
You're like Michael
let's-
Chiklis.
In which case, let's go for a. I guess we're using a disarm. Is kind of where we're going with this.
Well, wouldn't she make a
She
reflex
wish-
save?
I mean, so you're the one holding it at the moment, right?
Well, isn't he holding it?
He's holding it, so
Oh,
I'm
he's holding it, and you guys are both trying to kind of take it.
Grab
Is that
it.
the idea?
Yeah. Well, I'm not trying to
idea?
take it from him. I'll cut a corner off while he's still holding it.
Okay.
Whereas
Yeah.
I'm attempting to. I'm gonna say, can I take that first? Because I was the first one who asked for it, and he said yes to me.
Yeah, he's not holding it out because he can't
Yeah.
move at the moment.
Yeah,
You guys are
so
the ones.
I'm gonna try and grab it and then like dodge out of the way of these scissors.
Okay, if you can quickly make. Actually, I guess both of you are kind of just making very dexterous attacks here. Do we want to just roll it like that?
Just with our dex mod?
Yeah, just
I
do it.
wanted to do sort of more of like an acrobatic, like dodgy thing.
Roll contested acrobatics.
I would like to hinder Munt.
Okay.
I would like to shoot work.
Goodness gracious! All right.
Munt, in Work's perspective, Munt has already yelled at the clergy, and it is not in a good mood right now.
Well, those guys might have been up to no good. I didn't know what they were doing.
All right. The thing is, okay. So if you're going to roll, the thing is, if you're rolling dodgy, you're not taking the thing. So we're gonna have just both of you guys roll like an. Let's go with an acrobatics, just to kind of quickly be like in out sort of thing. Because like one of you is doing it with scissors, one of you is just doing it with your hand. And then, freaking how are you? What's the hinder? How are we gonna hinder?
There's a 24 on my acrobatics.
Isn't that a really bad band?
Hinder?
Isn't
Damn.
that a really bad dating app?
Okay, here's one. Now you can tell me if this will work or not, but I'm trying to reflavor something. I have my shield raised.
Yes.
I would like to shield block Munt's scissors. Because I have my shield right in front of Dallin.
Yeah, I guess that would do it. Because I guess he is basically. In which case, can we get can we make that an attack roll then with the scissors?
So would I just use the 17 that I rolled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are running me through a ringer here.
Well, okay, so I'm assuming it would lower this AC raise shield block. So I guess it would reduce his roll by the hardness of the shield or by the AC of the shield.
I mean, you tell me. I am not the shield
Okay.
block.
Okay, shield block reduces the damage you would take if your shield's in front of you.
But your shield's, is it in front of you?
No, it's in front. I mean, we'll count it. Maybe I'll just count it as a -2 because I just snapped my shield
Sure,
over.
let's just do it as -2 then.
Okay, so 15 to cut. And
Okay.
then 24 to grab. Or like to get in there.
All right. Well, I rolled an 18 plus 7.
That's a 25.
I think you win.
25, unlucky.
Okay, yeah. In which case, yeah, you just as the scissors are coming in, the shield kind of just moves ever so slightly to just kind of just think you off the side, and then you just watch as as the kind of fox hand just get in there and just zoop.
Thank you.
When it's taken away, Munt's face very suddenly darkens. I say, "Hey!" And
And
then I
then
very quickly return to being regular.
So you're like built like Bilbo?
Yes, it. My face is exactly like Bilbo when he gets scary.
Okay. I just wanted to know for the audience.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
whereas I'm gonna like hop in, I'm gonna grab it, and then I'm gonna take a couple steps back, and I'm gonna cast Identify on it.
Okay. Let me. Identify requires, what do you call
10
it? Right?
minutes.
10 minutes? Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like, give me 10 minutes here.
Okay. In which case, yeah, you take your 10 minutes with it here.
While that's happening, Dallin,
Mhm.
do you? What's this? Another follow-up question. What's this word written on your casket?
That word?
Yeah, the one that's Wushnikskono.
Which oh no. I don't know. I would like to highlight that the only time I've seen the casket was from the inside.
That's fair, but this doesn't have any significance to you.
Wushnikskono?
I don't know. Maybe it's your middle name.
It's a bunch of letters.
It's a bunch of letters. Oh, you know what? That's probably in that's probably in code. That's probably Sludge Street cipher.
Okay.
Blood Street Cipher. You don't say.
Well, I mean, we made it back in the day when we had to organize people without the guards getting in the way. Some people still know it, but I mean, I had nothing to do with throwing that on my own
Right.
casket.
Does hearing that make me? Does that trigger anything in me, and I am now recognizing it as Sludge Street Cipher?
As you're kind of looking at it, because you've been examining kind of the casket for a little bit here, and the language for a little bit here. You would understand that it's nowadays nobody really calls it Sludge Street Cipher, but it was basically a derivative of a code that was made back in Claw Trail. But basically, but nowadays everybody just calls it Boardwalk Code, because that's actually the key to the entire cipher.
Okay. Well, Dallin, do you know what kind of undead you are?
No, I don't think they tell me that in school.
Do you... Okay, so you think if you finish the list, you'll be able to pass on. Am I understanding this correctly?
That's my understanding.
Now, when you say complete the list, does everyone on the list have to die, or just come to justice, as it were?
Not gonna lie, Not sure.
Dallin, I have a question. So we had previously heard that you, once upon a time in a past life, perhaps at this point, you were a researcher of demonology, devilology, something like that. Is that true?
Yeah, I guess that's me, right? I did a lot of that. It wasn't specific demonology. It was honestly just like it was research into rituals
Hmm.
and artifacts. Pretty standard stuff up there.
Was there any particular uh, rituals or devils or demons that had you were looking into particularly before this list met a big gust of wind and flew into your possession?
At the time, I think we were looking at. God, you're really making me think here, huh?
Yeah, I know it's pretty far back, but if you could bear with me here.
I mean, I had all my research notes at one point, but I don't know if they burned those or hidden those away or whatever, or if it was dumped somewhere. But I mean, it'll be in there if you can find it. But
Hmm.
honestly, it was just like we were trying to break down the details of a ritual at the time, and so we were the standard stuff, setting up candles, setting up a ritual, because basically taking it off of a language that we didn't quite understand.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, and then I mean that's kind of all. That's all, kind of as much as I can give you. It's you go from there, then flash a light, bang, boom, bang, bloom, and then suddenly there's a few things show up, and then you go, oh, cool, and then you start
Hmm.
trying to research the things, and I don't
Okay.
know, one thing leads to another.
Yeah, fair enough.
Can you tell me the names on the list? We can't read it.
The thing is, if I
Yeah,
tell
follow-up
you,
question, why can't we read it?
why can't you read it? I mean, I can't read it either. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hmm.
You thought I put your names on there? I can't. I don't know what your name. I don't know what your full names were. I didn't write those on there. I can't read this list. I
Then
just get a
how?
feeling of who those people are.
I see. Have you ever been wrong, do you think?
I mean,
Have you
is
ever
he?
killed someone that you thought was on the list and their name didn't disappear?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so it's a lot of guesswork.
It's the thing is, like, I'm pretty sure, considering the fact that when I was released, I had only 3 names on there. I'm pretty sure I know exactly who those 3 people are supposed to be. The problem is I don't remember their names, because the instant it's on there, I can't read it, and I might not even know their names to begin with.
And how many people do you have now?
I mean, what was she's looking at it? What do you have on there? As Rin's kind of looking, kind of start continuing her identify magic, she can see 8 distinct lines on there.
So 4 names other than our own.
That's not too bad. We'd only have to kill 4 people and then we're square.
Did you put
We can
the
knock
cold
that out in an
steel
afternoon.
in the forge?
The cold steel in the forge? No. Oh, why would I put cold steel in a forge?
Well, it kind of fits
Do
with your
anything.
motive, eco-terrorist kind of thing. You're stopping the pollution.
No, if I wanted to stop the pollution, I'd just ground the thing. Get a bunch of druids and make it rain or something. I mean, like, why would I throw cold steel in a forge?
Hmm.
I don't
That's the
know,
case we're actually
subterfuge.
trying to solve. We just happened to come across you in the process.
Also, why'd you run away when we asked you about this the first time?
Look, you at this point, I'm going to assume that you guys know my general story. You guys, the general idea.
Well enough, sure.
I did a bunch of stuff. Somebody got mad at me, shot me a bunch, and then I died, and then came back. Kind of went on a how do you put it?
Rampage.
I mean, crusade, maybe. Let's not say rampage. That makes me sound like
Okay.
a mass murderer.
Sure. The
But
crusade. Justified and holy.
I'm not saying I did the right thing. But you know, when you come back from being dead and you're angry at something, you kind of just go with the anger. And so I'm really sorry that this had to end up this way, where I came to trying to take a chunk out of you guys. But there's a part of me that still needs has this compulsion to end a life. I'm not trying to
Sure.
do that all the time.
We all have that. That's normal.
Is it normal?
Yeah, right, guys?
Only when I think about you, Munt.
See? Perfectly normal.
I'm just gonna.
Work used to have these, but he's born again now. It's
I mean, I've been born again, but every time I've been born again, I can only see red in my eyes, and then I start, then I don't remember anything. Things are, it doesn't work very well for me.
I'm
so
gonna get up because at this point, Work's legs are probably getting that little tingly feeling from being crouched down for so long while this conversation's been going on.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm gonna flick Munt. That's it.
Veda's flick.
You're going to flick.
Yeah.
Flick him right in one of his rat ears.
Yeah. That's all.
All right. Munt, I assume you're not.
I will dodge by folding down my rat ear with my ear muscles.
All right. I'm not gonna make us roll for that one here. But yeah. In which case, Down's just like, look, can I get up now?
I guess. I mean, even if you didn't, I assume you can still turn into a smoke monster, which we are pretty powerless to stop.
Yeah. In which case, we're in agreement. I'm just gonna get up here.
All right.
Rin.
Yep.
At the moment, as this conversation's kind of been going on and buying you a little more time as well, you are using identify. You were using these things. Let me see here. Discover an item, location, or ongoing effect that is magical. You spend 10 minutes to try to identify the particulars. If the attempt is interrupted, you start over. You're going to have to make a. Can you make an occultism check for this?
I can. Ooh, that is a 20. Not natural, a dirty 20.
I generally assume that if you guys just say the number, it's not as exciting as if the number is already on the die. But yeah, no, as you kind of have taken a little bit more time with this and start trying to detect all of the intentions and purposes of this item. Let's see here. So what you're So you recognize this essentially as this scroll essentially as a fragment. It seems to essentially what it seems to do is whoever now wields it, or is very much like attuned to it. Essentially, it detects who wrongs them, quote unquote, and it determines who what that looks like, and essentially gives that person an immense compulsion or need to remove people from that list.
Okay. So basically, anyone who wrongs him goes on that list, and then he feels a compulsion to eliminate them to get them off the list. Is there anything that I get from this that says there's other ways to get them off the list? Or is it always the compulsiveness that they have to die.
You get the idea that it is generally the item is generally nefarious in the way that it would like things done, and that's kind of the way that the person gets leaned towards. But you don't get a perfect read on what that could look like. It might not be. It could be anywhere between like murder to making sure they atone or making sure they apologize or fixing whatever it was.
Okay. So
At the moment,
potentially, at the moment, I could have the read that he is telling the truth and that if we help him, we would no longer be wronging him. And so therefore we would go off of the list as long as we truly actually try and help.
In fact, I think if we even offer to help him,
He
our
might
names
get
might
out.
even disappear off the list.
Yeah. So, Dallin, this list is a little bit tricky in that we have no clue who we're going to be going after to try and fix this for you.
well, that's my thing. Is like I know for a fact that the four of you got added on here. So
Yep.
I just want to and now and then there were only 3 when I started, and then 1 more got added on after. So I'm trying to basically I have an idea of who the 3 people could be. The last one I'm
Okay.
gonna have to hunt down. But like if you guys can either help me find those 3 people, even if it's not even even if it's not your I don't want to force you guys into anything. But if in a moment of clarity,
Yeah.
in spite of the fact that I still have this this like overwhelming want to take this knife out of the strap and start slicing, I'm hoping that I don't have to keep doing that.
All right.
Would this be considered Dallin Fry's path to redemption?
Ooh, probably.
Revenge, redemption.
No. It's less. I don't know if it's about people that have wronged him, but like if he's trying to, my work's just trying to process it all, and I'm thinking like that.
Well,
he's trying to get these so that he can be free of this.
Yep.
Like what he's telling you sounds like he's trying. Yeah, like it sounds like he's trying to be rid of this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's less like he doesn't want to he doesn't want to murder people. He just feels compulsed to.
Yeah, and like you can still you guys know obviously from your previous experience with him that he has no problem doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
And in fact he's quite ruthless with it as well.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Okay.
Work reaches down an arm to Dallin, and he says, "Well, Dallin, you just got yourself a promotion from my enemy to my ward," and I pick him up off the ground.
Oh baby. Yeah, he kind of reaches up and he's like, "Thank you. What does that mean?"
Well,
we're gonna help
I
you.
will help you in seeking your path to redemption. So
what does it mean? Basically, you remember fun? Yeah, say goodbye to that.
God.
Mont is also my ward. Do not listen to him.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah, as Dan kind of looks over at the rat and then looks up at the orc and then goes,
He is a work in progress. It is complicated.
I'm a work in progress.
Okay. Rin's gonna take the scroll. She's gonna walk back over to Dallin. She's gonna
Hold up.
basically.
I'm gonna get a copy of that first.
And I'd also like to cut off a piece.
Let him try. It's an magical artifact. He's not gonna be able to damage it.
I know.
all right.
Sure.
I'm gonna brace myself so that when the magical demon energy comes flying off of it, I don't get hurt.
All
I'm
right.
just
So
waiting for him to break his scissors.
all right. So we're going scissors first, and then copy it down.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Yes.
Rin will hold that thing
I'm
up
cutting
and
off an inconsequential corner. It doesn't matter what order it happens in.
I want it to be far away from this thing when you try and do that, so I'm going to hand this over to Rick.
Sure, I'll hold it for him. I know it's not going to work.
All right, and you're gonna back all the way up. All right.
I'm backing all the way up, and I'm gonna look at the clergy guys and go, "It's okay. We'll figure this out."
The clergy.
And I'm sorry about the rat,
All right. Munt.
and they're gonna listen to me because they still like me.
Munt. You're gonna take a pair of scissors here.
First I'm gonna take my pair of scissors,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to reach over to the incense that the clergyman dropped while startled, and I'm gonna rub it on the scissors,
Okay.
and then I will try to cut it.
Okay. Can you? Can you just make an attack roll for me with?
Sure. Am I proficient in using scissors?
I would
Probably.
assume so. Yes.
One can only assume.
11.
11. Yeah, you kind of take the scissors and you go in and you kind of just like snip at it, and it just kind of like the fabric seems to just kind of fold in between the blades of the scissors here,
Hmm.
and just kind of like sandwiches it, and then it just like you like come in and it like sandwiches it again. It doesn't make contact with the sharp end of the scissors.
Hmm. Strange.
In which case, Rich, you're just gonna copy down the words on the parchment there.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Once I do that, I'm also going to write next to the bottom 4 on my own sheet that those are our names.
Okay.
And now, we saw them appear. Does anyone happen to know the order they appeared in? Who saw that? Maybe they can recall it.
I wasn't looking.
I was there, and when they appeared, he said our names in a specific order, and I don't know if Ben was purposely saying them in the order that they were written. But I remember that they were said.
Okay.
I also don't know if any of us would recall that.
Yeah.
It was a little heat of the moment.
Yeah.
So at the moment, unless somebody would like to try for a recall knowledge lore.
I'd like to try.
Okay.
So like to try because I remember I remember Rin distinctly looking at it and seeing whether or not she could distinguish the letters after. So she would have, and she was right up there, so she would have tried her best.
Yeah, for those of you who would like to give it a shot, please do. I'm just gonna I'll apply all the things to the DC here instead of just.
Okay. Does recall knowledge fall under?
For this one, I think probably lore is the best one to use, unless somebody
Okay.
has a better one to.
What kind of lore? Like history? Or is it just straight lore?
I don't believe there is a history.
Oh, sorry, it is lore, but mine is like lore specific.
Yeah, mine says lore underworld, but
Yeah,
That's
mine
fair.
mine
It
says
makes-
lore fae.
What about can it be like occultism?
Sure, let's do it through occultism.
okay, that's the same.
I get a 15, but I also have that feat.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
I got 18.
I got 12.
I wasn't looking, so I won't roll.
Okay. In which case, you guys seem to. This feat makes it so that I have to kind of give you like two options, Possibly.
Well, if somebody gets it right, then you don't have to.
Well, you can just say the other two didn't remember anything, and then give Tyler a list that may be true and may not be true.
Yeah,
Depends if
the
I
thing.
rolled high enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, if nobody else succeeds, and I'm the only one and I failed, then I learn a bit of true knowledge and a bit of erroneous knowledge. So maybe like I only know one of the names.
Yeah, in which case, what I will say, what I will tell you all then is that you all recall Wark being at the top of the list, but the order afterwards is not clear.
Okay, that
Okay.
is helpful.
Now knowing that the top name is Wark, is it any easier to work out what language that could be?
At the give me a recall society.
Sure.
The other question is, does
Yes.
it record our the names we use, like the names that he knows, or does it record our true names? Because then it would not say work.
Ooh,
This is
good point.
this is
Got a 19 on the society check.
19 on the society check.
Yeah.
It now that you're thinking about it, this actually just doesn't look like a language, and is likely just something that the artifact has created as its own script.
Okay.
Is it just like squiggle? Does it even resemble a language, or is it more close to like diagrams or some kind of?
It's closer to that.
Okay.
Or at least something where it's like excruciatingly symbolic, essentially, instead of phonetic.
Like Chinese.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry, where were we on this one? Oh, in terms of what you guys saw pop up, as all of you guys are trying to kind of bring back the knowledge of what you saw that day, you guys all kind of recall, the names that you know each other by showing up on the list. So what
Yeah.
you would know yourself best as is also what you would have seen on the list.
Okay, so it
What
would
could
say
have been
warp.
different to each person.
Yeah, as you guys are, because my assumption is you guys are trying to, we're trying, like, when you guys are we're trying to recall what that order came in. You guys all kind of established, oh yeah, this is what should have shown up. And you guys also spitballed names in different orders, but the names are slightly different. So for those of you who do know yourselves as first and last name, that's kind of what you would have seen in format for yourself. And what you know your compatriots as would have been what you had seen them show up as.
Okay. All right. I'm thinking that I will head to do some research on these squiggles and on the artifact somewhere, see if I can find out anything about it. Meanwhile, I think Rin can take somebody up to the upper district. I can't remember what it's called. To
Skybox?
to see if you can find Dallin's old notes.
Go. Yeah, I'll do that, but I think Rin's gonna be like, also, we are still working our jobs, and we probably shouldn't overwork ourselves. We should probably get some rest. Like, it's getting late. I'm not paid
point.
for overtime.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna. Do you guys mind if, or I guess Dallin, this is a question more for you than and the rest of the party. Do you mind coming with me? I think I know a place where you could stay, and we could keep an eye on you.
Where do you do you sleep?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I can rest. I can sit down, lie down. But I mean,
But
am I gonna
what
do?
if you don't? Will you become exhausted, or are you just good to go?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever pushed myself to any reasonable degree.
You do realize he's dead. He needs nothing to keep himself alive.
Well, we don't know the exact circumstances of his death or undeath.
I have one more question for you guys.
Yeah.
Shoot.
What about those three? As he kind of points to towards the back of the room, where
Oh,
where the group of guys are kind of like all like cowering, basically
Oh.
on the ground and just kind of like looking up every once in a while. But like they're like basically saying like they're like kind of just like slowly chanting this little small prayer amongst themselves.
I
Once
can
I see
handle
them pray
this.
again, I say, "Hey, didn't I tell you guys to knock it off?"
stop!
They inherently are just like.
Mont,
Actually,
quit
Dallin,
threatening the clergy.
Yeah, make me.
I can deal
Actually-
with this.
Dallin,
Yeah.
this actually might be a good question for you. They were commissioned to go and bless your coffin, by the way,
Oh.
by the clergy, by their head priest. Someone went to them. Do you recognize this handwriting?
Oh, as you kind of you kind of break out the little note that's that basically asked somebody to go bless number 87.
Yep.
As he kind of looks at it and goes, "Do I recognize handwriting? Though my memory's really bad after dying twice." Stares at it a little bit. You know what? That could. No, he'd be too old now.
Hey,
mean,
magic
no-
is in this world. Some people live a long time.
Yeah, I guess so. There was a. This would have been so. There's a guy out on Claw Trail who like who specifically makes like caskets and coffins.
Uh huh.
I think this might be him. What's his name though? I don't really remember. I mean, like, there's a bunch of people who do it, but like, I mean, like, out in Claw Trail, there's like there's just like one. There used to be only one guy when I was around.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I'm gonna roll a society check.
Is it Coffin Jim?
no,
Not to be
that's
confused with Coffin Jim, spelled Couhing.
no, that one's just that's an illness, my friend.
That
That's true.
that is a natural 20.
That's
So
a
that is
natural 20, eh?
that is a
Ew.
28 in society.
Ew.
All right. In which case, you would know that there is in fact just one guy out in Claw Trail who does coffins. Basically, he's specifically generally does coffins for Claw Trail usually. For hunters, people who are going to have more natural deaths.
Mhm.
But you also but you know that guy's probably in his maybe his like 30s right now. But his name. Oh, sorry. Now I need to look up my stuff.
I'm surprised anyone in Claw Trail has a coffin. I would figure they just feed you to the animals, kind of, circle of life.
And it moves us all.
And it moves us all.
So true.
I mean, to be fair, if they just left it that way,
Gotta
the
touch
place
it
would
weirdly the
smell
style of this
terribly.
shave.
There we are.
Might as
I
well
can't tell.
bury them.
So the person that who does this out there, his name is Ristus.
Limperistus. Sorry.
Sorry, also circling back, there's someone blessing your coffin, and you also threatened us not to open it. Is there something in there? Not you, at least.
He
But
didn't threaten us. He suggested we not.
Well.
I'm just gonna stick to that.
there was an intimation of danger.
Yeah, while we're on the topic of things that Dallin has said that don't quite make sense, do you actually own that warehouse that's down there, or was that all a ruse? And how did you make all those guys' eyes turn black and turn super duper evil?
These are all excellent questions.
That you should probably start thinking of an answer for.
If it helps, I do own the warehouse.
Well, we know that it was
It is-
owned on paper. That's how we found you.
Yeah, I mean, like that warehouse is under my it was under me, and I guess nobody claimed it since I'd been gone, so I just went back.
Presumably, the vibes are bad.
But I mean the whole like people getting what do you call it? Controlled,
Evil eyes.
evil-eyed, whatever you want to call it. I have no clue, man. I mean, I'll figure it out. I'm sure.
Also, do you intentionally turn into a smoke monster, or is that kind of a fight or flight response?
I mean,
Is that
no,
just something you can do now?
I can do it every once in a while. I don't move around like that, if that's what you mean. I
Well,
just,
no, of course not. Imagine if a big gust of wind caught you while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Could be dreadful.
as you guys are going kind of talking here, and the clergy continue to kind of huddle in their little corner. You guys can hear from outside of the excuse me, is everything all right down there?
It's fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
All right, you've all just been down there awfully long. I just wanted to make sure that you found what you needed.
Oh yeah, we're just praying
Yeah.
real hard.
Specifically, you make a lie, please.
Deception check.
20, dirty 20.
All right, yeah. He goes. All right. Well, we do appreciate your respects for the dead. Don't spend too long down there. The rain is coming in soon, so we don't want you getting stuck down there.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
It kind of just continues. You just kind of hear footsteps kind of trudge off.
All right. I'm going to do some research.
Okay.
I am going to bed.
Do we want to watch the clergy finish off their ritual?
No, they can go home.
Well,
The ritual is done.
They'll go
Is
home
it?
or else.
The ritual is done. And I walk over to the clergyman and I tell them that, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say here, but some religious babble that orc would know. I tell them I'll finish the ritual myself.
Okay.
And then I say or else.
No.
In which case, yeah, they kind of take their leave, and it just as they're crossing, as they're kind of like slowly kind of walking out, just one of them has their kind of cracked incense and censer in hand. They kind of gather up their stuff, and as they walk by it down, you just see them kind of grasp their holy symbols as they kind of walk past him.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
I'm going to put his casket back and then
Okay.
seal it back up. And then I would like to take Dallin with me.
Okay.
I am going to also sort of head out to go to sleep. I'm gonna go find my house up in the upper district. But before that, once I am home, I'm going to identify on the magic thing that I picked up from behind the casket that I didn't get to finish the ritual on because Dallin
the
interrupted me.
tile.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. In which case, as everybody kind of breaks off here to kind of end their day, so Rin, you're kind of going back to your place,
Yeah.
taking some time to identify the
Tile.
tile.
Yep.
Is there anything else you would like to do? As essentially we're going to move this into like pseudo downtime for everybody here.
I might also like head up to more of the like area where he had been, like the university area where they had been doing the research, and sort of suss out around there and see if I can find his note.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna try to what, ask around or look around or things like that.
I think I might just do more of like a subtle look around and talk to anyone I know there and see if they've heard anything. But just a couple of people there that I trust who like
Okay.
work with artifacts and stuff.
Okay. In which case, Rich, you said that you're gonna go try to investigate the symbols here, right?
Yeah, and I think I'll actually start at the detective agency and go talk to Director Roz.
Okay, and you're gonna go to the detective agency, and then where do you have any ideas where you might go afterwards, or just see where that takes you?
Yeah, I'll see where that takes me, but it'll be somewhere that I can do research on um, the language or lack thereof on the list, as well as if I can find a translation guide for Boardwalk Code.
Okay. Munt, where are you running off to?
I am going to go back to my trash pile and settle in for the night, and I will do my daily clean my gun. My magical reagents should refresh, so I will recraft my things that I make with those. And then I'd like to start drawing up blueprints for a vacuum, basically a Ghostbuster pack, where the vessel that it pours into could be. I'll make a note to inquire with some kind of religious man about giving some kind of holy blessing or reinforcement to the vessel so that it could hold demon particulate or perhaps a smoke monster type guy.
Oh, good God.
Are you trying to make?
I'm trying to ghost bust Alan.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
And
He
then
wants
beautiful.
to be Luigi in the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yes.
this
yeah.
is
I
what
do
I'm
want to do that.
imagining. I'm imagining that
Yes.
he's
Yeah.
basically like, like somebody's gonna cast magic circle on the freaking backpack, and then yeah, good lord. All right.
Oh man.
Wark, where are you heading with Dallin here?
I am taking him to see the son of the serpent.
The son of the serpent.
I thought you were going to take him to church.
I am.
Literally, yes.
But I literally am. I just didn't say it that way.
Yeah.
Which I do
Okay.
believe is in the Spirit Walk.
That would be it.
I do not have a picture for the Spirit Walk. Dang
Oh,
it.
do I actually not?
I did not.
Yeah, probably I don't.
Have one.
I don't have that many pictures.
I would
I'm not gonna
use
lie.
Skybox General.
Sure. In which case, you guys kind of take your leaves of this area, cleaning up and then just closing up the doors, going your separate ways, and just saying, "All right, now since it's kind of after work hours now, you guys are gonna split off and then just meet back up, likely back at work, and then go from there. Which case, let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's go with. We'll go in reverse order here then. Work. You're going over to Valsky's temple here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You guys walk up the hill and just go take take onto the dirt trail. That kind of leads into Spirit Walk, which is just a nice like mostly largely unpaved, except for maybe the sides near each of the temples. Um, just walk that you can roll down. It's almost a straight shot. There's a little bit of a bend to it. For the most part, you guys see every um single location here. As you're kind of doing so, you kind of watch as Dallin kind of puts his hood up a little bit.
Yeah. That's fine.
But you guys kind of continue on walking through here. You guys see religions of every kind. Pretty standard view for you here. Um, but for those who have never been here, like you basically see like clergy of every color basically mingling here. And as well, everybody, there's always uh, a guard presence here, but not the Tensport guard. And in fact, it's actually generally the Vestals and the various champions and priests of the various churches that are along the spirit walk that have kind of contributed to the security in the area. There's a very strict no violence policy in this area, and basically all of them have bind together to ensure that that's the case.
Yeah, I dismissed my shield when we left the crypt.
hmm Uh, as you kind of walk him into Valsky's temple here. Do you want to describe Valsky's temple?
Um, yeah, so Volsky himself is a Nagaji man, so he is part man, part Naga. I picture that he has kind of like a black cobra type head. So like it's hooded, but the rest of him is humanoid. I think kind of like the guys from Stargate. Um, so he is a priest of Nalandvati, who is the creator of the Nagaji, and he himself was cursed during the war that him and Wark fought in, and which to most people the curse it would be a curse. It's actually a blessing to the Nagaji because the rest of his body has now been littered with scales, and so he operates a very nice temple devoted to Nalinavati, and that it features serpents and stuff. But there is a small. It's more like a broom closet in a sense, but it's like a private prayer room that he has given work as the local or as the Mesluda center of prayer within the city, as she is not a common deity.
Okay. Do you are you kind of are you bring him into the temple? You can see Valsky as you're kind of walking up to the threshold here. Valsky's doing what Valsky tends to do here around here. A lot of cleaning actually. It's just it seems to be kind of dusting off the remainder of the entrance way here. You can see that there were a few footprints that have kind of passed through today that he's trying to get rid of, and you can see that he has a little like donation jar thing that he's kept near the edges that he's slowly emptying out right now as well. As he kind of looks at you and then looks at the hooded man next to you, he just kind of gives you a very like courteous nod.
Yeah, I just kind of salute to him. Also, it should be noted I did refer to him as the son of the serpent. That is what like his clergy refers to him as. Not nobody would really refer to him as Volsky except for Wark. It is from what I would assume, because it's like an honorific, right? Like father, high priest, the pope, that type thing.
Fair enough.
And I salute to him, and I say that I have brought someone who is let's say my new ward, but he is not too happy with the religious practices. And I grab his hood and I pull his hood down.
You pull his hood down?
Yeah, like so that to reveal his head. Like I pull it like
Okay.
off of his head.
Valsky looks at how long has Valsky been in the or how long has the son of the serpent been in the city for? Do you know how long he left your tribe?
Before Wark. Wark is like in his late 30s, so probably like 8 years, give or take.
Okay.
So he might not
Uh,
know who Dallin is, but like by sight, but maybe by name or something.
mhm. Uh, in which case, he kind of looks at him, and just gives Dallin a slight bow as well, and just any that you deem that you deem necessary to walk the path with you are welcome here. Um, and Dallin just kind of gives the like, oh, this is all religion. All right, and just gives a kind of nervous bow back to the son of the serpent, and just his eyes kind of darting now back and forth, but just okay, nice to meet you too.
I say, uh, I go, he needs a place to lay low, and I trust that his darker side will have be less prominent here, and I can trust you to keep an eye on him. The others in the city do not take too kindly to his face.
Mm, if you trust me, I trust you, friend.
Then I'm
In which
gonna,
case he kind of he gestures. He continues to stand by the side, because he very much just allows you to enter and exit as you please, obviously. And so if you're just gonna lead Dallin in,
yeah,
um,
I'm going to basically just like lead him over, lead him into the room,
mhm.
and tell him that he can stay here, and that I would like highly recommend that he remain here until we have sorted out his situation, or need to come to him, or he has any revelations or whatever.
All right. Yeah. In which case, are you going now? Is that
Uh, no, as I like motion towards the bed in the corner that is mine.
Oh, and he goes, oh, I see now. Okay. All right. And then he kind of just goes, all right. I guess and he kind of like picks a corner. So as
I
not
go and
to
I get
knock
him
over
like
anything.
a blanket and stuff from a store closet or something.
Your
gotta
church
thank-
doesn't use cuddle puddles like Coleman's?
No. No, there's
Okay.
only me, so the cuddle puddle is work alone.
It's the same idea, but much lonelier.
Yeah.
All right. In which case, he accepts the blankets from you, and then just kind of like props himself up into a little corner of the room. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Oh, I imagine it's like, okay, so I imagine that the temple is like magically enchanted in a way where it is slightly warmer inside, like walking into like a reptile room, because there's so much water. Like I'm assuming there's I picture it being there being like fountains and running water, and like the Nagaji are kind of like Amazon-esque type people because they're snake people. So I imagine it's like fairly warm and humid. So like it's not like he would get cold sleeping in here.
But you might get damp.
You might get a little damp, but like it's not like you're gonna
Oh
Get
yeah,
cold, might get mold.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the temple is itself relatively warm and humid, he's mostly kind of grabbing this stuff to kind of lay down on.
yeah, that's what I
on
was
the
that's what I was
floor, right?
thinking.
And
Yeah.
against the wall, so that he can have a little more comfortable time, right? Okay. Oh God. Ah.
You
Sorry.
okay?
Give me a sec.
You okay?
Yeah. Oh God.
I feel like there was a cramp involved.
Yeah. That's alright. Oh. Piece of crap. Haven't had one of those in like a month. That's not bad. All right. In which case, work. Anything else that you would like to do?
Nope. But if you need to get up and stretch or something, we can take a quick break here.
No.
Yep.
It's honestly, it's like it's gonna be like the remnants of it is gonna be gone in the next like few seconds here.
Okay.
It's the same thing that I've had for ages. It's whatever. It's just awkward.
Yep.
All right. In which case, let's quickly run up to Munt here since we're kind of moving up the list. Munt, you're running back to your trash pile, getting all the things kind of set up again. You're slowly kind of drawing up your schematic for your fancy vacuum, right?
Yeah, I've decided. So the pieces I would not have on hand, most of it I would have on hand, or I could source in the trash pile
Mhm.
because it's mechanical pieces. But specifically, I would not have um, the holy blessed vessel or whatever I want to store it in. But also, what I want to source is a first level gust of wind spell scroll, so that rather than it being a motor powered vacuum that does it with a fan, it would create a localized gust of wind spell to make it basically a magical pneumatic vacuum.
Fair. Are you looking to kind of source that tonight, or are you just kind of like
No, I'm just
this is
drawing
what
up
you're
the diagrams and
this is what you're
figuring out what I got to
spitballing?
source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you also just quickly make a crafting check for me as you're kind
Yeah.
of like imagining through the possibilities?
Say 15.
15. Yeah, you're able to make pretty good headway on this design, because obviously, like, it's mostly, you need a container. The
Mhm.
holiness or the materials required to make it holy enough, you're not really familiar with, so you kind of just label that one godly container.
Mhm.
And then you're like you're trying to like find a good way to like mount your hoses and and how you're going to trigger it along with the scroll. So you're able to like you've got the general idea of what each part has to do. And
Mhm.
now it's just a matter of kind of figuring out how you want to get all of these things assembled and how you want to get these things to trigger.
And I would also like to note down creating a non-holy variant with a irregular um larger capacity container that I could perhaps market and sell to the wealthy to take all the gross particulate out of their households.
You want to become Mr. Hoover.
I do want to become a door-to-door vacuum salesman. That's correct.
Well, that sucks. All right. In which case, I'm gonna I'm gonna quickly bring us up to Rich here. Rich, you've gone back to the detective agency to try to kind of figure out the symbology of these words and lines that you have now.
Hmm.
Um,
While I'm here, I'll also see, maybe I can find out what Dallin is undead wise. I'll
yeah,
research into that as well.
yeah, you're kind of grabbing onto some old detective agency books, and logs to try to figure out what they have. You note that they can they're relatively vague on a lot of topics. But can you make me a? There's got to be a There's got to be a check for this somewhere.
There's practicing a trade.
Just practicing a trade?
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
it's
for
a
lore
thing.
skills. I have underworld lore specifically, but untrained I can still use it. I think, which I'll still have a +4.
Sure, yeah, yeah. Take that. Where is this? Where am I? Am I looking at something different?
Yeah, practicing a trade lore is the one that you would
I
normally
thought you
use
had to
for
be trained.
research. I think I have a detective thing that specifically makes it so I don't have to do that.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Fair.
I'm gonna double check though. Where is it?
I believe you.
Yeah, I'm gonna believe you too. I'm like looking at my like list at my like paper list of like things you can do.
Hmm.
I have no clue. But there's also like infinite things on this list.
True.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'd also just talk to people around the agency and be like, "Hey, I'm looking for information on this," and they'd probably tell me where to find it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Give me
you
your
are. I think
dice.
I was thinking of earn income.
Oh yeah, I'm
Not
not trying to
yeah,
earn income off of it.
yeah.
So yeah, dirty 20.
30/20. Yeah, just kind of asking around. You encounter some of the other investigators, some of the other people that you've
Mhm.
been trained with prior, and just kind of go to ask them a little bit more about, undead and things like that. And they're like, oh, I mean, do you mention Dallin's name while you do this as well?
No, probably not right now.
Okay. You primarily just kind of say like, "Hey, like, do you guys have any ideas about, you know, uh, like dead, like how to identify like what's dead, what's like what type of dead they might be, things like
Yeah.
that." Okay. Yeah, you kind of talk to a lot of people. You talk to people, and a lot of them seem to agree that if it's been raised by somebody,
Mhm.
um, that they're generally not as that generally speaking they're not as smart, and as you're kind of like, okay, so what if they're a little more like autonomous, whatever, then
Yeah.
and then a lot of your buddies are just like, oh well, I mean, if they're a little more, if they have a little more thought to them and whatnot, they might have resurrected on their own, or were resurrected just due to their spirit not settling. And those generally, it could be your ghosts, your poltergeists, your revenants,
Mm,
people who are connected to like specific objects,
yep.
people, places, or things, sort of a thing.
I was waiting for that one. Out of character, I'm like, he's a revenant, but in character, I needed to know. All right.
Yeah, and they kind of they kind of chat with you a little bit more, and you kind of get the sense that you're getting the sense now that they're like, yeah, no, if they're like a, some of them are like more vengeancey things, some of them are
Mhm.
just like restless, but if they're more vengeancey, you'll tend to find that they have to be, they're always connected to people, place, or thing. And
Yeah.
and that's usually what restricts them from going any further beyond that zone. Of
Understood.
Sometimes one of them pipes up that they might be able to carry whatever it is that binds them to the world. But most of them seem to agree that generally speaking, they have very little control over what it is that binds them.
Hmm.
It might be so like they might not be able to manipulate, for example, like if it was like, a prized family heirloom, they might not actually be able to manipulate the heirloom itself, but they'll just have to be within the general vicinity of it, no matter
Hmm.
where it goes or who carries it.
Yeah. But if they're generally corporeal, they'll have no issue moving things, I would assume.
Then yeah, then generally speaking, they'll have very little issue moving those things. But at that point, one of them will also pipe up that at that point, most of them can solve their own problem pretty easily, because like
Mm.
if they're connected to a specific object, then they'll have the object, then they'll be fulfilled, and then they can either destroy it if that's what's needed, or they can whatever it happens to be and solve their own
Hmm.
problem. Um, so you get a little bit of conjecture from a lot of people, but the consensus, it kind of confirms what you're
Yeah.
believing so far.
Got it. All right. How about the weird language? Any
Uh,
luck with that?
yeah. So as you're working on this now, you're it very. I'm not even gonna make you rule on it, but essentially, it seems that the list itself makes its own and doesn't
Mm.
really have rhyme or reason behind it. It seems to be a very much like a feeling type thing.
Okay, so even knowing that the last four names are ours, even if I were to correctly identify, it's not like I could use them to translate the first four.
No.
Okay. Um, then the last thing I'll do is I will go to Roz, and she is the only one I will mention that I'm dealing with Dallin, and maybe, given she's an old elf, she might know some stuff.
Mm-hmm. You walk into Roz's office, and she kind of sitting, in her chair here. You see that she's kind of packing up for the day.
Yeah.
Seems to be kind of like getting a briefcase together and whatnot. You kind of close the door behind you and mention, hey, we're dealing with, in that whole cold steel, debacle. We're dealing with somebody named Dallin Fry. You see her face turn a pale white as you mention it, and she kind of looks right at you and just, is this a sick joke to you?
No, actually works with Mr. Fry as we speak. It's based on my best guess. He's some kind of corporeal spirit, maybe a revenant. He has a list with names on it, and now our names are on it as well.
Well, that's not good for anybody.
No, he seems to think that if we can finish the list, it'll remove our names, and he will be able to pass on. But he doesn't know the other names on the list.
I wouldn't trust that at all.
I don't particularly trust it either, but in either case, if we can find the other names on the list, then we know who we can warn.
Well, I worked on his case back in the day. I was the intelligence officer that was assigned to it.
Mm.
And I can tell you that his initial murderer is still alive.
Do you know their name?
At the moment, no. He is in witness protection, my friend.
Then it may be best to try and get a warning to him if he can.
All right. Well, I don't work for the Tensport Guard anymore, but I'm sure I can talk to an old
It seems
CEO or not whatnot.
even though Dallin doesn't know the names on the list, he can sense the people. So he may be able to find them regardless, so someone should be prepared.
Well, all right. I mean, if you want to do it, you can always go to Bar None and try to talk to one of those ones, but otherwise, I can try to get a message out to my old officer.
It's possible that you could be on the list as well, ma'am, if you were investigating. He said anyone who got in his way just appears on the list.
I'm quite aware of that. I'm not sure what to make of it, though. Well, as long as if he's staying with Wark at the moment, and as long as Wark is able to keep a close eye on him, hopefully that'll do.
Well, this is a little bit of a strand off the trail. He says he didn't put the cold steel in the forge, but it would be his MO to mess with a forge based on the history that we've dug up, and we believe he was strapped to the bottom of a lake with cold iron chains the last time he came back from the dead.
Yeah, so that was actually something that we had to consult when I was working for the guard. That's from my understanding something that we had to consult with the some of the clergy down in the Spirit Walk about. What they had told us was that the lumps of cold steel that he had been shot through with were the objects that he was connected to. So he could not travel far outside of the influence of those. Unfortunately, he was shot through 6 times, which meant that he had, 6 lumps of cold steel that he would be connected to. So their suggestion was to keep them all in one place. tie him to them, then he couldn't go anywhere.
I think they may have been incorrect.
They may have been incorrect, or the other option is that they've moved. Either he has moved them somehow, or somebody has moved the cold steel somehow.
I suppose that's possible. Part of me thinks the list itself might be what he's bound to.
That could also be true. If that list is the problem, then I mean, I'm not sure what we're going to do about it.
It is very magical and seems that it can't be destroyed.
Well, thank you for letting me know. I
Alright.
appreciate the update.
If you can think of anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. And you know anybody that can decipher boardwalk code?
Boardwalk code. Let me. I would think that there's still somebody around, but I'm sure I have a whole table around somewhere. As she kind of wheels herself over to one of the old bookshelves and starts kind of peeling little books off the back wall here. Eventually, she kind of comes up to a book and just kind of pulls it out and just says boardwalk code. I mean, the good thing is that it's, from what I remember, it's very similar to some of the other underground codes, which literally it's in the name. Those are the first letters of, and they just go down the row. But let me see if I can find that for you for tomorrow. All right? It's
Alright.
home time for everybody, so I would also suggest you head home.
Thanks,
We don't-
ma'am. I'll come
we
by
don't pay
again
you
in the
overtime,
morning.
unfortunately.
Don't I know it?
I'm sure you do. Take care then. In which case, Roz goes, kind of continues to fish through her shelves, but kind of lets you go here.
Mhm.
Anything else you would like to do, real quick?
No, I think that covers what I wanted to do.
Okay. In which case, Rin, you might be muted.
No, I shouldn't be muted. Can you not hear me?
No, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Just kind of kicked it. I assume it was like a volume thing. Rin, you're going to go. You're going to go home. You're going to identify the tile. Is my understanding?
Yeah, I think I'll do that for tonight, and then I'm gonna sleep, and then early in the morning I'm gonna head off to the uh, university area.
Okay. In which case, do you want to just quickly make me the check for the
Identify.
identify,
Mhm.
and then we can take up the rest from you guys being kind of freshly rested and into the next day.
That is a 15 plus 5, so that's a 20.
20. Yeah. So as you kind of identify this this little tile looking thing here, even as you take a bit more time to kind of look at it, looks like it's pretty handmade and kind of like, now as you're looking even closer, it doesn't look like it's um pieced together by like an artisan. It seems almost like somebody's like, seems like maybe an amateur, but a very skilled amateur's um art project. Basically like a small little tile. It's got a little rounded edges, and then just on it has that kind of the Tensport guards crest over top. And as you identify the piece, it lets you know certain things that you'd already figured out just prior to that. It notifies somebody when the object that's on top of it is moved.
Hmm.
And basically sends a notification.
Okay. Okay.
In which case, do you?
With
Yeah, sorry.
the way the tile looks, have I seen anything like in a similar sort of style around?
Can you make a recall knowledge society check for me.
Okay. Oh, that's a 10.
10. For the most part, kind of random tiles, random art projects pop up all over the place. People are more people will make stuff however they want. This one kind of looks like it's made out of like fired like a clay that eventually got fired. But it seems a little too rough to be artisan made.
Okay.
Okay. In which case, is there anything else you would like to do before heading to bed, or just do that and then head to the university in the morning?
I think she's just gonna do that, and yeah, just writing down a little bit of what we know, what we're looking to do, and then also doing the like, which one's the priority?
Fair enough. In which case, does anybody else have anything else they would like to do before we call it a night, both in game and in real life here?
No, I'm good.
Nope. Should be all good.
Okay.
All good.
In which case, what we'll do is we'll call it a night for the real people and for the fake people. Just make sure you guys are rested for the next session, and we'll carry on from there. If anybody does think of anything that they would like to follow up on with the downtime activities, shoot me a message and we will just revisit it next session. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thanks
Thanks.
everybody for
Cheers,
tuning
everybody.
in.
Good night.
All right.
Good
Take care,
night.
everyone.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll be back on Sunday with probably more Destiny 2. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.